So I know last week or 2 weeks ago, we were looking at equations, but the simple equations. So let me go back a little bit before I look at today's work. Before it was something like x plus 3 equals 8. I know later on I added parentheses, I modified it and everything. And then this one, the way you guys will modify it will be move that 3 to the right, change the sign, and you guys will come up with x equals 5. Right? That was back in the day. That's when it was simple. And back in the days, the important thing of the answer was that number made the statement true. Right? X plus 3 equals 8, x must be 5. Right? It makes the statement true. That's what it is. So the first 10 questions for today, I'm asking you, I'm going to give you guys an equation, but I'm going to give you guys an equation with two letters, a y and an x. And then in parentheses, I'm giving you guys two numbers. We know they come in alphabetical order, so the first number is the x, the second number is the y. Now my question to you for the first 10 says check if each order pairs a solution. Just plug in those numbers for x and y and tell me if the statement is a true statement. So let me copy the equation. Let me write it as negative 2 is equal to negative 4 times 2 plus 6. Basically, I replace the value of y and x. Just replace them. My question is that a true statement? I know I have to multiply it. Negative 4 times 2 gives me a negative 8. So I have negative 2 is equal to negative 8 plus 6. Now my question to you is that a true statement? Negative 8 plus 6 equals to negative 2. Is negative 8 plus 6 equals to negative 2?
Yes.
Yes? So in that case, yes. That is a solution. That's all I'm asking. Just plug in the values of x and y and tell me the statement is a true statement. Right. Let me skip a little. Let me take a look at question number 3, because I want to do one with a fraction. Well, actually, let me skip to number 4. It still has a fraction, but I don't want a 0 because it's easy to deal with zeros. So once again, I'm looking at number 4. In my parentheses, x is 6, y equals negative 16, right? Once again, I'm giving the x and the y value inside the parentheses. So let me rewrite this statement as negative 16 is equal to negative 7 over 3 times 6 minus 3. Replace the values of x and y. Now, let me do the fraction with the number there. And I know the way I work this, I divide first. 6 divided by 3. And my result, I multiply to the top. How much is 6 divided by 3 times negative 7? Negative 14. So we have that negative 16 is equal to negative 14 minus 3. Is that a true statement? Negative 14 minus 3 equals to negative 16. No? So no, that's not a solution. So this is how we check if it's a solution or not. Plug in the values of x and y. If it makes sense, if it's a true statement, then yes, it is a solution. If it doesn't make sense, then no, it's not a solution. Any questions for the first 10? Do keep in mind though, I call it a solution, not the solution. What that means is that there's many, many numbers that make this statement true. As a matter of fact, there's infinite many solutions. There's many of them. So now, before I look at question number 11, let me take a look at a line, what a line looks like. Notice, let me look at my point A. Notice it's at almost 4. It's a little less than 4. You notice that's my last number on my equation, 3.97. So, as a matter of fact, if I move my line up or down, notice how that number changes. Right? It's basically where my A ends. If I put it around 2, it's almost 0. Now, the first number, notice how the inclination of the line, I'm not moving it. So the only number that changes is this last number on the equation of a line. Now, let me not move that point A, because I want it to stay at 3.49, right where it is. Let me move this other point. So I'm going to change the inclination. Notice how now the number that changes is the one in front of the x. Right? It's positive if the line's going up, but if the line's going down, it's a negative number. I know my program gives me decimals. For today, we're going to be dealing with that number as a fraction because it's easier as a fraction than as a decimal. So just remember, on the equation of the line, the number in front of the x tells me about the inclination. The second number, the one by itself, it tells me where do I cross it on the y-axis. So having that said, let me go back to our work. Let me take a look at number 11. Because it says sketch the graph of each line. So what I'm going to do with this number out here by itself, plus 3, that's where I'm going to begin. So on the y-axis, let me write positive 3. Now my number that in front of the x, like I told you guys, I'm going to see it as a fraction. The fraction, the top number, tells me whether I go up or down. Up if it's positive, down if it's negative. So once again, it tells me how I'm going to move. So that number, the top number is going to tell me up or down. The bottom number is going to tell me right or left. So once again, since the top number is up or down, we're going to call that the rise, right? You rise or you go down, so it's the rise. Since the bottom number tells me right or left, we're going to call that the run. So this number is going to be rise over run. We do need it as a fraction. Oh, all right, so this thing tells me go up 4. From the point that I initially had, if you have room, go up 4. We don't have room to go up 4. So when that happens, when we can go off the chart, what I'm going to do, I'm going to change both of these signs. Negative 4 over negative 3. So I know negative divided by negative is still positive. So now this thing tells me go down 4 and 3 to the left. So from the point, let me go down 4 and 3 to the left. And let me connect my line, my points, making a line as straight as I can. The importance of the line is that it represents all the possible solutions. If you graph any of the points on the line, any of them, and you plot it in there, the statement will be a true statement. Once again, all my solutions to the equation are represented by the line. If you graph the x and the y value of any of those points, you plug it in, it will be a true statement. And I'm not going to prove it to you. I think you guys believe me. But that's the importance of the line. It's a representation of all the solutions. Let's take a look at number 12. I'm going to start with positive 5. So I'm going to write my positive 5. My slope says go up 7, 2 to the right. I don't have room to go up 7. So let me change both signs. Go down 7, 2 to the left. So down 7, 2 to the left. Now I'm going to connect my points as straight as I can. And once again, my line, it's all the possible solutions. Do notice that I did not just connect my points. This is not connect your points. This is a line that goes through your points. So it's not connecting points. Also notice that at the end, I put little arrows on my line. But it keeps on going forever. All right, let's take a look at 14. We're going to start with positive 2. My number in front of the x, as it is right now, it's a negative 1. Right? The negative sign by itself represents negative 1. But I told you guys that we do want it as a fraction. So if it's not a fraction, put a 1 at the bottom. All right, so now my slope says, remember slope is inclination. So it says go down 1, 1 to the right. So from the point, let me go down 1, 1 to the right. And I'm just going to go as straight as I can. If you guys want to be really, really straight, one thing that I recommend you guys use is the edge of your ID. They work great. They're straight, so they can be used as a rule. If you have them, that makes them look good. I'll be okay if it's a little bit crooked, but not too much. What I mean too much is like too much. board, I know that what I mean too much would be, I've seen this, like that, that's just too much. Let me take a look at number 13. We start with positive 5. But now I have a negative sign in front of my fraction. I'm not going to give it to both because negative divided by negative is positive. So I'm not going to give it to both. I know in order for a fraction to be negative, one of the two numbers is negative, the other one's positive. And a division, in order for this to be negative, they have to be different signs. So my negative side, I'm going to give it to either of the two. It doesn't matter. My choice, I'm going to give it to the top. So now this thing tells me go down 5, 2 to the right. So from the point, let me go down 5 and 2 to the right. And then I just go. So matter of fact, if the slope is negative, the inclination is negative, you know your line is going down. So if I finish with the line that is going up, yeah, that's not right. Right? If the slope is negative, your line is going down. If it's positive, your line is going to go up. All right. Any questions for yes? 15. Let's take a look at 15. All right, so I'm going to start at negative 5. Right? I'm going to start on the y-axis as negative 5. I need my slope as a fraction. So let me put a 1 at the bottom. So now it says go down 7, 1 to the right. I don't have room to go down 7. So remember I mentioned that if you go off the chart, one way you can fix it is change both of these signs. So I'm going to change this to positive 7, negative 1. So now this thing says go up 7, 1 to the left. So from here, let me go up 7, 1 to the left. So once again, at the beginning, it will take me off the chart. If you guys go off the chart, change both of these signs, and then just plug it in. Now let me connect my points as best as I can. Since I am expecting the lines to be a little curvy, honestly, what I'm going to do, I expect 2 points. I expect 2 points on your graph. So the way I'm going to grade it is based on those 2 points. So the lines will be a little curvy, so I base myself on the point. Right. Any questions? 25? Let's say go to 25. You're good? 25? You get the same as number 24 for that one. Boy, that is a 25. I thought you guys were joking. Okay, my bad. 25. All right, notice how after the number, remember the number by itself is the one we start. Technically, there's nothing. So if I want to see it, we're going to write plus 0. Right, because plus 0 is nothing. So I'm going to start at the 0. I thought you were kidding for it. So we start at the 0. My slope, remember I want it as a fraction. So we put a 1 at the bottom. 3 over 1. So go up 3, 1 to the right. You have your 2 points. You grab your ruler, the edge of your ID or something, and you connect it. So that one came out nice. Yeah, yeah. Let me show you guys one thing though. Notice how the slope was up 3 over 1. Notice how sometimes in the previous questions I've gone and changed the signs and I said it doesn't make a difference. If I was to go change this to negative 3, negative 1, that means go down 3, 1 to the left. So notice it gives me the same line. So earlier when I used to go and change both signs, remember I used to do that because I would go off the chart. I want to show you that it really does not change the line. It's actually the same line. All right, once again, any questions for these? No. Hold that.